Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to introduce you to the concept of commissions that you'll be learning about in Chapter 6. So there are just a few learning objectives. You'll first be able to compute sales commissions and gross pay. You'll also compute graduated sales commissions, and then finally compute sales and purchases for principals. And so the first one, computing sales commissions and gross pay, is the easiest type of commission to calculate. And so commission pay is based on how much you sell. To calculate it, you just start by multiplying the commission rate by the total amount sold. This is going to give you the commission earned. If the employee also has a base salary, you would add that salary to the commission to find the total gross pay. So essentially, gross pay equals commission plus salary when they're both included. And so let's take a look at this first example. Here, Judy sells yachts and marine equipment. She receives a $5,000 base salary per month and earns a commission that is 2% of the value of all boating equipment that she sells during the month. And so what we need to do is to find her commission and total pay during September. Let's say that she also sold $132,000 worth of equipment. And so when we're dealing with word problems, we always want to start by listing what we know. So I'm going to start by typing her base salary. And her base salary is $5,000 per month. Her commission rate is 2%. Of the value of all boating equipment that she sells during the month. And let's say that she sold, so her sales were $132,000. Remember, it's asking you for her commission and total pay. So those are our unknowns. The first thing we're going to do is calculate her commission amount. So her commission is simply her total sales, 132,000 times 2%. And this gives me $2,640 in commission. Remember, it's also asking for her total pay. And her total pay is simply her base salary plus her commission amount. Now all we need to do is to plug in the values. So her base salary is $5,000. And the commission amount that we just calculated is $2,640. So this tells me that my total pay for her is $7,640. Now let's take a look at another example. When a customer returns something, you can't count that sale toward the commission. So first we're going to have to subtract the value of the returned items or canceled orders from the total sales. And that's going to give you what's called the net sales. Then we're just going to multiply the commission rate by the net sales to figure out the actual commission. So let's take a look at this example next. So here we have Carrie. He receives a 3.5% commission on his weekly sales. He doesn't have a base salary, so no base. And we want to find out his commission and total pay during the week when he sells $44,000 worth of products, but one of his customers cancels an order for $5,000. So the first step is to calculate his net sales. And how we calculate that is by taking first his total sales minus returns or cancels. Okay, and so now that I have my formula, I can plug it in. So he had total sales of $44,000 minus $5,000 worth of cancels. This gives me net sales of $39,000. Now that I've found his net sales, I need to calculate the commission amount and total pay. And remember that your commission amount is your net sales times the commission rate. In this case, it's 3.5%. Okay, so that gives me $39,000 times 3.5%, which gives me a commission amount of $1,365. His total pay is the same as his commission amount, and that's only because for this specific problem, it says he has no base salary. And so that would just be plus 0 or nothing, which is still $1,365. Next, we have a graduated commission plan. So a graduated commission plan means that the rate changes as sales go up. And so to figure it out, you're first going to break the sales into each rate by rate level by subtracting, and then you're going to multiply each part by its matching rate. And then finally, you're going to add them all together to get the total commission. And let's read this example. So in addition to a salary, Donna has a monthly commission plan where she receives 2% on the first $40,000 of sales during the month and 3% on sales above $40,000. So if she has sales of $75,000 during May, let's compute her total commission. And so the first thing I want to see or figure out is how much sales go toward each commission rate. So she had total sales of $75,000. And then I want to find the first $40,000. So I'm going to subtract $40,000. And this gives me $35,000. So remember that she receives 2% on the first $40,000 worth of sales. Okay, so that's going to be $40,000 times 2%. And then she also earns 3% on sales above $40,000. And that's why we subtracted $40,000 from $75,000. Because $35,000 is how much above $40,000 that she sold. So this $35,000 is going to be at a commission rate of 3%. And let's do the calculations. So 40,000 times 2% is 800. 35,000 times 3% is 1,050. To find her total commission, I'm simply adding these two together. This gives me $1,850 as her total commission for the month of May. Now let's take another example. Here we have 3 levels. So we have 2% on the first $40,000, 3% on sales between $40,000 and $80,000, and then 4% on sales over $80,000. Let's say also that she has a total of $126,000 in sales during April. So the first thing we're going to do is to figure out the amounts for each commission rate. So I'm going to take her total sales of $126,000. I'm going to subtract her first commission amount up to $40,000. This is going to give me $86,000. But next I have to figure out the amount she's going to earn 3% on. So what I'm going to do here is to take this $80,000 and subtract $40,000. And this gives me $40,000. So I'm going to subtract $40,000 here. This leaves me with $46,000. And now if we visualize this first $40,000 of sales, so the first $40,000 that she made, she earns a 2% commission rate. Next, we're calculating 3% on sales between $40,000 and $80,000, and that's what we found here. So that's at 3%. And finally, let's calculate her sales over $80,000. So again, we've already calculated the first $80,000 here and here, and she sold $46,000 over $80,000. So I'm taking this $46,000 times 4%, and now I can calculate each of these commission amounts. So remember, this was $800. 40,000 times 3 is 1,200, and then finally 46,000 times 4% is 1,840. Totaling them up gives us $3,840 as her commission for April. Also, you can verify that you did calculate her total sales correctly. So if you add 40,000 plus 40,000 plus 46,000, that gives us the total sales of $126,000. Let's take a look at this final example. So sometimes sales happen through an agent instead of directly. And so a producer called the consignor sends goods to a commission merchant or consignee who sells them for the best price that they can get. And then the total money brought in is called the gross proceeds. And then from that, the agent takes their commission, which is usually just a set percentage, and then sends the rest back to the consignor. And so let's read this example. Okay, so Karen is trying to sell a truck. After 3 months, she decides to consign the item to a broker. They agree on a commission rate of 6% on the gross proceeds from the truck and 9% from the tractor. She sells the truck for $42,500 and the tractor for $78,600. She also pays $610 to deliver the truck and $835 to deliver the tractor. So let's go ahead and start calculating the truck. We're going to find the gross proceeds as well as the net proceeds, and then do the same thing for the tractor. Okay, as for the truck,